Hello, I am Mudu Gajaga, and this is QTV News coming to you live from our studios along Caraba Avenue. Thank you for joining us. First, here are the main local, international and sports news headlines. President Barrow has laid the foundation stone for the construction of a new school of enrolled nurses in Bansang. President Barrow on Saturday launched a major ecosystem-based adaptation project in the Upper River region to contribute towards combating climate change. 20 police officers are undergoing a 2-week training course by Turkey's instructors in preparation for the 2022 OIC summit to be hosted by the Gambia. In international news, a gunman who has been identified as a student today attacked a university at Palm Said in Russia, killing at least 8 people, leaving at least 28 injured. In sports news, Fortune are knocked out of the CAF Champions League through penalty shootouts, and also Q City are through to the quarterfinals of the QCell Youth Cup. Those were the main news headlines, and now the news in detail. Welcome and thank you if you're just joining us. This is QTV News. President Barrow has laid the foundation stone for the construction of a new school of enrolled nurses in Bansang. The project, which is funded by the MRC Holland Foundation, will triple the training capacity of the school and contribute to the ongoing health sector reforms. Maud Laminchoy reports.
The expansion of this institution will help enroll and prepare more nurses for our health sector. The students at the School of Enrolled Nurses lined up to welcome and witness a development that will help bring a solution to some of their challenges.
Now that the president is here with us, we are far more delighted to express our concerns to him so that he understands what nursing is all about.
The School of Enrolled Nurses in Bansang can currently accommodate and train only 50 students. With the intervention of the Ministry of Health and government support, MRC Holland Foundation is funding the project after the Ministry of Health requested their assistance. Harriet Sonko, the MRC Holland Foundation representative in the Gambia, sees the project as an opportunity to expand training opportunities and a chance to solve socio-economic challenges facing the urban areas.
For MRC Holland Foundation, we like to build as many schools as possible in the rural areas. And we already start seeing the fruits. Because if I see the students coming in with their results, that's very promising. There's a lot of very good results coming from the rural senior secondary schools nowadays. And those...
Amadou Jigo, the CEO of Jigo Construction, the contractor for this 6-month-long project, updates the president about the project design.
The project consists of 9 lecture rooms for the academic side, with offices and also an academic building.
MRC for the support they have given us since I came to power. Without the support of Holland Foundation and Henrietta, it would have been very, very, very difficult for us to fulfill this infrastructural development that we are doing in this country.
In reaction to a plea from the principal of the School of Enrolled Nurses in Bansang to support the school with a mobility bus, President Barrow promises to provide a school bus to ease mobility and other operational needs of the school. The Minister of Health takes the President on a tour to a temporary COVID-19 treatment center, next to which a permanent one is being constructed. Mahmoud Laminchoy, QTV News, reporting from the Central River region.
President Barrow on Saturday launched a major ecosystem-based adaptation project in the Upper River region to contribute towards combating climate change. This comes in the same week that the Gambia was lauded as the only country in the world on track to meet the Paris Climate Agreement targets. Mahmoud Laminchoy again.
The forest tree planted for a multi-million-dollar project for climate change action is in Nyakoi Kerawan village in the Woolly East district of Upper River region. This comes few days after the Gambia topped the global ranking as reported by the Climate Change Action Tracker, which reports that only the Gambia is compatible with the 1.5 degrees Celsius temperature limit, indicating that the Gambia's policies and commitments are the only ones globally in line with the Paris Agreement. Participating countries are expected to create nationally determined contributions to widen the gap for the world to meet 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold.
The strategies that the government has developed and all the especially the SPCR and everything else, if you put them right, you do them right, Gambia will exceed its quota. And the rest of the world, a lot of the countries are really not that far ahead.
The $25 million project is in 3 components, namely afforestation, the planting of 10,000 hectares of forest and farms, supporting community business and strengthening institutional capacity.
250,000 of those kind of trees.
Yes.
Ngola plant camp.
Okay.
We are 120 communities roadside planting, 80 schools schoolyard planting, and also 54 community forests inside them.
Okay.
And then also 1,000 farmers distributed across the 4 regions, LRR, CRR, North CRR, South, and URR. Each of those 50 trees dealer in their own farms. We teach how to plant it, and we also are going to follow up with them, protect it, on all the way to the end of the year. Yes. So
we are plant the tree and abandon it.
Yes. In those communities where they've lost their rice lands to salt water, we are replanting with mangroves.
Yes.
80 hectares of that. So in a few years' time, when you are passing between Soma and Sikunda, that whole stretch of water should become mangrove.
With more planting of trees and the use of or promotion of renewable energy, when properly managed for sustenance, the planting of trees will help rejuvenate Gambia's forest cover and disaster risk mitigations. Mahmoud Lamin Chey, QTV News, reporting from the Central River region.
Now, 20 police officers are undergoing a 2-week training course by Turkish instructors in preparation for the OIC summit to be hosted by the Gambia in 2022. Omar P. Jallo witnessed the opening, and this is his report.
According to officials, the training will prepare the Gambia Police Force in several areas, including VIP protection, counter-terrorism, and protection of important facilities, amongst others, ahead of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation OIC Summit to be held in the Gambia in 2022. At the event, the CEO of OIC Gambia Secretariat, Yankuba Diba, said Turkey have been instrumental in helping build the capacity of Gambians ahead of the summit, adding that Turkey had organized several training programs for the security forces, particularly the police.
With the increase in terrorist activities around the world, most especially in our region, Sahel region, this topic couldn't have come at a better time. As we host the World next year, we are not taking national security for granted, which is why we are engaged in constantly improving our forces' engagement readiness and capability. As we speak, another 10-man delegation comprising senior officials from various security outfits is in Ankara, Turkey, undergoing another high-level security training in security planning and management for international conferences and events. Many more will continue to benefit as dozens more training packages, both within and outside the country, are lined up in the run-up to the summit.
Turkey's ambassador to the Gambia, Tolga Bermak, said Turkey has vast experience in hosting such high-level events and therefore recognized the fact that hosting such summit requires strong security arrangements.
Summits and high-level meetings require strong security arrangements. And in this regard, Gambian security officers will play a very important role in the success of the forthcoming OIC summit to be held in the Gambia next year.
Representing the Inspector General of Police, Adeline Basenge, Commissioner of Police PIU, said the training will greatly enhance the operational capacity of the police force and boost their readiness to effectively carry out their duties. He called on the participants to take the training seriously.
Protecting or securing important installations where these VIPs will be lodged during the OIC is not an easy thing. Terrorists have no boundary, and Gambia can be considered as a soft target. In order to minimize the threat, we have to be trained, we have to know how terrorists think and how they do their planning. And it is only through trainings like this we will be able to face such challenges. So I challenge all of you to take this training very seriously and be prepared to share the knowledge gained with your colleagues.
According to the authorities, in the previous 2 years, more than 1,200 security officers have benefited from a series of training courses in various disciplines organized by the Turkish police force, both in Turkey and in the Gambia. Reporting for QTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
From that story by Omar P. Jallo, we will go for a short commercial break, and when we return, we'll have some more local, international and sports news stories. Do stay tuned.
Novelas ni ma gunge ci sama kër gi ba xet gi ne duma toog duma tàyyi man daal de moo koy wëri parfum Novelas suñ ko bis ki kër gi xet gi day neex parfum Novelas mooy waaja lii mooy parfum Novelas parfum bi dafa neex forest bi dafa neex saxaaba bi dafa neex lii mooy parfum Novelas parfum bi dafa neex Almadina boo ko bombee xet gi day gunguni lii mooy parfum Novelas Bakhour bi dafa neex brise marine bi ak yëpp a neex ak Novelas féppay xeeñ neex.
Looking for the fastest and easiest way to receive money transfers from abroad? Well, QMoney and Ria just made it happen. Now you can receive international money transfer from Ria directly into your QMoney account with no additional cost. Once you receive an SMS alert about your transfer, walk into any QMoney agent across the country to receive your payment for free, or use the money immediately to buy credit, QPower, and other QMoney services. It's fast, safe, and convenient. For more info, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Sinu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Well, welcome back from that short commercial break, and if you're just joining us, this is QTV News. Women and youths constitute the largest segments of registered voters across all regions in the country. This is the finding in the monthly situational analysis report released by the Peace Ambassadors of the Gambia and the National Democratic Institute, who have been monitoring the registration process. Loli M. Kamara has the details.
The report contains findings on the recently concluded voter registration, the appeals, the political rallies, and the COVID-19 pandemic, among other things. In his welcome remarks, Momodu Juju Jallo, Program Manager, Peace Ambassadors Gambia, said they have been holding monthly stakeholder dialogues to discuss political issues affecting the country and also map out strategies of how to solve them amicably.
Peace Ambassadors is an organization which is there to inculcate peace in the minds of people. And we all know election is fast approaching. We have almost 2 to 3 months before the election. And it's important as an organization we talk to each other. Because once we talk to each other, we can able to understand and tolerate one another. Because in what we are hearing currently in this country, people are saying we either make it or break it. So breaking it, I will not be in that wrong side of the history. We can all say let there be violence, but let it not come from me. So we will urge every young person in this country and every Gambian, let us maintain the peaceful coexistence we all have. And let us know Gambia is our country, is our home city, our continent, and let's make it a better place for all.
Yas Salinjai, Program Officer, Peace Ambassadors Gambia, advised that the electoral watchdog groups should double their efforts in monitoring the electoral processes to ensure that gaps and concerns are highlighted and recommendations put forward. Babukar Sambo, President, Peace Ambassadors The Gambia, said the organization has been monitoring the electoral processes since October 2020 and explained all the areas his organization is engaged in.
On September 14, the IEC gave the update on the final voter list. For the first time, they gave analysis of statistics and segregation of voter per constituency, region, gender, and age. This was a key recommendation from the Peace Ambassador's final report of the voter registration observation. From the chart, women registered more than men in all the regions across the country. And the second chart shows the percentage of youth, especially 18 to 35 years, that registered against non-youth, 35 plus years. Youth clearly registered more than other age brackets in all regions of the country.
At the end of the event, there was a Q&A session in which participants make recommendations regarding the December 4th presidential election. The IEC has set the campaign period between November 9th, 2021 and December 2nd, 2021. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamar.
And that story will take us to the international news. A gunman who has been identified as a student on Monday attacked a university at Palm-Set in Russia, killing at least 8 people and leaving at least 28 people injured. Police say the attacker has been wounded and detained for further investigation. Lolly M. Camera.
The incident took place some 1,300 kilometers east of the capital, Moscow, in the Urals. Witnesses said the shooting sparked panic and fear, as students could be seen escaping through the windows while others locked themselves in classrooms to be safe from the shooter. A video posted on Twitter shows students throwing out their bags and jumping from the first floor of the building. It was also reported that the gunman had written on social media that he was acting alone and had no political or religious reasons. A teacher at Palm University told BBC that he saw students running from a building and people jumping from the second floor as he approached his class. It is reported that the security service immediately blocked all buildings and passages and issued a message on social networks urging students who were in the building to stay in the classrooms. The university has 12,000 students and said about 3,000 people were on the campus at the time of the shooting. Russia has strict restrictions on civilian firearms ownership, but some categories of guns are available for purchase for hunting, self-defense, and sport. Russia raised the legal age for buying firearms from 18 to 21 after the Kazan school shooting. But the new law has yet to come into force. In that incident on 11 May 2021, a mass school shooting occurred in Kazan in the western part of Russia, and a bomb was detonated. 9 people were killed and 23 others were injured by the 19-year-old shooter, a former student of the school. Of the 28 injured in this latest incident, 19 are said to have bullet wounds, and the others may have received injuries while jumping to escape. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
Some disturbing news there, and now we go into sports news. Yes, we are going to start with Gambian League champions Fortune, who are knocked out of the CAF Champions League preliminaries after 5-4 penalty shootout defeat to Anton Setif of Algeria. Well, this follows a 3-3 aggregate draw, and the Algerian side overturned the first leg deficit, winning the second leg by 3-0 at home on Sunday nights, thus forcing a penalty shootout for the tie to be decided. More in this report. Anton Setif responded to their first leg defeat to Fortune with a high-intensity attacking football. The Algerian club forced Fortune into committing an error almost immediately as the first half whistle sounded, leading to the Gambian champions conceding an own goal 4 minutes into the game. 16 minutes later, they conceded a second goal, with Riyad Bernard giving the hosts renewed belief that they could overturn the first leg result. Constant pressure on Fortune ensued, who were forced to spend much of the first half penned in their own half, chasing the ball and defending. Fortune ran into more problems when they had midfielder Alassane Faye sent off on the hour mark for what was deemed a high challenge. The dismissal seemed harsh, and coach Jane Juve could be seen remonstrating with the fourth official about the referee's decision. His protest fell on deaf ears. Anton Setif, knowing they had an extra man advantage with 30 minutes still to play, continued to put pressure on Fortune. Even when it appeared Fortune could have held on, eventually they conceded a third goal in the 67th minute when midfielder Abdul Momin Jabor scored with a follow-up header as the first rebound of the bar. The 3-0 score for the home side meant the teams were level on aggregate at 3-3. Fortune twice came close to scoring but failed to do so. In the ensuing penalty shootout, Anton Setif scored all 5 of their spot kicks and eventually won 5-4 after Fortune captain Sirifo Dabo placed his shot wide. The long wait for Gambian clubs to reach the CAF Champions League group stage continues, with Fortune coming so close, yet so far. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News. In another sports story, Q City Football Academy progressed to the quarterfinals of the QCIL Youth Cup after their victory against Hans Football Academy. Both in the under-15 and under-18s won their respective Group B matches. More in this report. The under-15 side defeated Hans Football Academy 1-0 to make it 3 straight wins, topping the group, scoring 11 goals in the process. Hans Football Academy had a great first half in which they created some chances but failed to convert any. Q City's under-15 scored midway through the second half thanks to a waterlogged pitch. In the seniors under-18, Q City Football Academy won 2-1 against Hans Football Academy. The host Q City took the lead only for Hans Academy to equalize. They eventually scored the winning goal in the second half to seal their quarter-final place. Q City FC coach Ibrahim Mane says the tournament is competitive and provides an opportunity to learn and improve.
I think we are very happy that all the teams are competing, and at least it will do a great deal for them after their games to assess areas of deficiency and areas that they can strengthen. For Q City, I think they have played different teams. First match, they play a different set of players, because when you have 2 or 3 players change in a team, that means you have changed the team. And all the teams that they play against their opponent, they won.
Hans Academy coach Abbas Sane described the competition as exciting, especially with the TV coverage of the games. He says it has already exposed the players to a different level of the game.
Yeah, football can you learn a lot about this competition. Gis nañ comme la moo nekk seen fault daal. So li ñoo def mooy ñu delluwaat si pitch bi ñu wax xale yi la mooy seen fault. Because sooy defar academic da nga jàngal xale bi la mooy sa fault.
Earlier on Friday, Medina FC won by 3-0 against Ibo Town Football Academy in the under-15s, while the two sides shared the points after a 1-1 draw in the under-18 category. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News. Before we end this news bulletin, here is a recap of our main news headlines. President Barrow has laid the foundation stone for the construction of a new school of enrolled nurses in Bansang. President Barrow again on Saturday launched a major ecosystem-based adaptation project in the Upper River region to contribute towards combating climate change. 20 police officers are undergoing a 2-week training course by Turkey's instructors in preparation for the 2022 OIC summit to be hosted by the Gambia. In international news, a gunman who has been identified as a student on today attacked a university at Perm State in Russia, killing at least 8 people and leaving at least 28 injured. And in sports news, Gambian champions fortuned and knocked out of the CAF Champions League in penalty shootouts following a 3-3 aggregate draw. And still in the sports, Q City Football Academy have progressed to the quarterfinals of the QCIL Youth Cup. That's all we have for you in this bulletin of the news. Thank you very much for watching. Join us again at 10 for another bulletin.